a gruesome 17, almost 18-hour flight from San Francisco to Singapore. And I just gone on and I saw a whole bunch of, reports while on the plane talking about the whole Morozov ordeal. And I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. Well, first and foremost, right, when the league hands out an invite, right, specifically from Robert, we kind of expect the athlete to kind of come forth with any concerns they have, right? So more along the lines of, their health condition, their updates, because we don't necessarily know exactly what's going on with them, right? When we offer matches, we don't get doctors' confirmation notes. We trust the athletes to, in their best good faith, tell us what's happening with them, right? So there's that component. And to say that we are not willing to cancel because of an injury is far from the truth. Because let's look at it from Zurich standpoint. We had, what do you call it, Philip Larson, right? We did all the promotions. Matter of fact, even the backdrop that we had to get it printed in Germany, we had to send it 2 months prior. It had Philip Larson's face on it, right? So we understand things happen, right? We understand things happen, but we just hope the athletes can trust us to make the best judgment for them. Now, in this case with Morozov, now to clarify as well, in the later parts of the video, I did mention it's uninvite. But it's true, we won't invite an athlete back if they are always making excuses as well, right? Now, we did a little bit of digging, right? From my understanding, we got back the original translation, and it was mistranslated, for sure. It was along the lines of the translation for hunger. He thought he wanted to eat for food, right? So he needs money, but it's actually he's hungry to win. Now, whether or not that is enough to sway the public's perception on, how everything has gone in the past 24 hours, that's another conversation to have. But at this time, we are still, Robert's still looking into this. He's still finalizing. We are trying to get the public sentiment. Well, we're trying to understand the public sentiment to see if this match should still go on, or is it burnt for now, right? Now, obviously, every athlete, we hope that they are in their best peak form to compete. But if any of you have, I'm sure a lot of you have competed before, in varying degrees of difficulties. What we found is you're usually almost never perfect. Very rare you're perfect because there's always a little bit of quirk. It's just a little bit of quirk, right? And I think the bigger one is, do you make a big deal out of it, right? I know everybody's saying Robert and Dex only cares about money and whatnot, but ultimately that is, and I hate to say this, Robert is first and foremost an arm wrestler. We both care about the sport deeply, and to be sustainable, we still need to make sure we're financially sound. And anybody who jeopardizes the pay-per-view, we're not asking somebody to lie. That's not what we're saying. We're just asking the athlete to trust us and tell us the truth ahead of time, right? If there are concerns, share it with us personally, privately, before they go on and tell the world after they have accepted a match. Now, again, this is all a big misunderstanding in a certain regards. So looking at some of the comments, a lot of people are asking about Devon versus Camille, Alijan's better. Let's see. What is this, an emergency live stream? Well, I don't know if it's an emergency, but I just felt like, I've my flight got delayed, so I'm stuck at the airport for another 3 hours. Might as well come on and kind of share some of my thoughts. But big country 33-28 is postponed. Morozov get Alijan. So I think that's probably the most likely outcome. Knowing what we know now, I mean, just like how I've always stood pretty firm on the whole Alijan ordeal, is that we never want to not invite someone back unless it's for grievous reasons. And this isn't grievous enough. We would, now obviously the decision on all matters of athletes will come down from Robert. So postponing Morozov's match would probably make sense, but obviously it's Robert's decision. Nothing super official yet. We're still, Robert wants to get a feel of what the community wants. Now I know there is some level of mistranslation, but we want to also make sure that everybody knows about it, because ultimately at the end of the day, as I mentioned, right, there's two components. We want the athlete to be in a position where they feel comfortable pulling, right, and have a good degree of chance to win, right, and I think the next one would be also making sure that the whole world understands that this is a good match and they'll buy the pay-per-view. So there's that component. Borman versus Philip Larson would be great. I'll have to check with Philip. So Philip would be coming to Malaysia to train with Mike Ford, I think within the next few days. So I'm still deciding if I have time for it, but I might fly out and go hang out with those guys, because I'm actually in the region anyway. So that would be pretty fun. But yeah, there are some people asking to let him pull. I think that's still up in the air. Knowing that there was some level of mistranslation. Easterners still think that Devon is one of the owners of EVW and he forced you to match him with injured more. This is ridiculous. No. Like, Devon does not need to force us to do anything at this point. I mean, yeah, he like, if anything, Devon's the one who's calling off the match right now. Right. Before it's officially coming out from Robert Bax's mouth. So I don't think that is the case. For sure it's not the case. Another one is talking, also an injured athlete will be much more likely to be re-injured. You're not wrong. Great match or not, why Morozov? Give him Camille. So I think Camille is a little, I think he needs a break. I think that's what it is. But we'll check though. I know that there's been a lot of talk about, especially how good that match is. So there is that. Let's see, of course, but this. Okay, another one. GB is asking, hey GB, why did you offer Morozov in the first place? Obviously, you knew his physical condition. You can't. Okay, so I think it's one where, again, we never really know the extent of injuries. So I think when, I believe Snozana is the one who reached out, it's usually along the lines of, hey, we got this match, do you accept? And if you have any concerns, you should bring it up at that point. I think that's fair, right? I mean, from our perspective. And to say that we knew or we don't know, that there's always, I'll give a very good example. This past weekend, like, a quarter of all athletes, including staff members, including myself really, I'm just recovering right now, we are all under the weather. Some of the athletes, like I think I may have a picture of even Mindaugas, he was dead. He was like on couch lying dead, right? A whole bunch of them got sick, but you don't see them trying to kill the hype really by saying, oh, I don't think I can win, so they all just suck it up and pull. Now I'm not saying asking them to lie, but it's more along the lines of, let's kind of kind of not kill the hype really. Once you kill, and if you really, now, okay, now let's put it another way. If Mindaugas came up to us and said, "Hey guys, I'm really feeling terrible. I don't think I want to pull." Guess what? We won't make him pull, right? We won't make him pull. That's what it is. But they have got they've got to understand that they've got to communicate with us, not tell the world publicly, for their conscience or anything. But again, this is still a work in progress. Robert and I will probably we will have a live podcast session together, my Sunday night casual, on this Sunday. So he will probably be able to make that final determination by then. So there's that. Yeah, so MBS, Morozov did communicate back with us saying that there was a big mistranslation to a certain point, but he did say that he's not in his best shape, but he does have the hunger to do his best to win. So there's that. So it's a balance. It's really a balance of he's still not in his top form, but he is fully hungry and he wants to win. So there's that. Now, I mean, there's also another thing that we could do is Robert kind of threw around and he's looking into it. Is that potentially we find Morozov a different opponent, right? We find Morozov a different opponent and see if we could get his feet wet and just to see where he's at. You see what I'm saying? So, and to be fair, all these athletes, they train really hard. They spend a lot of time, a lot of money to prepare, and they also need, they need an income. So we will try our best to see what we can make out of all of these to make sure that our athletes are taken care of because we genuinely care for them. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we put on a good show, and everybody is in every match makes sense essentially. Okay, so now since there's that, there's a guy who's talking about the season pass and after bowls. So I don't think we've ever decided, or I have ever mentioned that annual passes includes the after bowls. But send me an email. I'll take care of you guys. No problem. Send me an email. Guy Larson 6888. Okay, so the next question is Mighty FS33. Why doesn't EVW place the arm wrestling table in the middle of the building? That's a really funny one. We were planning on doing so, but we ended up not doing that because of constraints from the hotel. There are what they call rigging points, but it allows us to hang lights down, and because of where those rigging points were located, we couldn't put it in the middle of the room. But I was planning on actually putting the table in the middle of the whole hall. So there's that. Jason Paul says, honestly, that's a great idea. Just change the opponents, Devon and Alejandro, and then Morozov, Sporong. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so we'll see what Robert decides on in terms of athletes. And to clarify, Robert is over all the athlete stuff. Now, here's another question. IB Freed, where would you place Rickard after the dominant match? Now, the problem is Schoolboy is not ranked top 10. So even despite Rickard, being pretty dominant on the right, it still doesn't replace him, put him up high in the rankings of the top 10 just quite yet. I don't think we should rush Rickard just quite yet to compete somebody in the top 10 too early. It's a little too early for us. We want to make sure that he gets groomed in a way where we give him step by step and not make big leaps. I think it's a little bit too dangerous. So I think it's a little too dangerous to kill his hype, right? And again, Rickard's super young. He's like 21. So we gotta give him some time to still continue improving and growing. Let's see. Now, to clarify, White John, it's not after poll. We call it extended polls, and the difference is this time we had never before we had a structured, you know, polling session after the event by our athletes. Very most of the time, you see our athletes. Maybe only a handful would stay behind, but almost always, all athletes will disappear and they won't participate in the after polls. So by having a structure, you will see a lot more of them, and you'll see more and more of that as we go on because I think it gives just a more entertainment value and ultimately it was a two-pronged approach to help tip some of our athletes as well because we've been pushed by the broadcast companies to increase our pay-per-view prices, and Robert and we are adamant that we will not increase our pay-per-view core prices because the economy is not very good at this time. So we wanted to make sure that to kind of offset a little bit of the production costs, we added this. And again, just mind you, I'm expecting, only most people would use the code to get a discount, and then majority of the rest of the money really goes either to the discount or to the athletes. So we get very, very little of it. So there's that. Pavlo was a big leap. He's no joke, super strong. Yeah, I mean, Pavlo is pretty good. Devon said anything about pulling Michael Todd? I mean, Michael Todd's was pretty. I mean, he showed the world that he could fight against a guy who could climb and have a lot of hand control as well. But yeah, I mean, that's on the table. It's not off the table. Michael Todd and Devon will, save some of these questions specifically on matches with for this Sunday when Robert joins me. We'll put a link out for everybody because I think these are all great questions. Recurt versus Corey West in April or June. He's with Michael Todd right now. Michael might be able to tell you privately if it would be a close match. That's good. Any plans to hold events in Sweden? We have many arm wrestling stars. Well, I mean, we are open to it. We love Sweden, but we just have to clarify a few things. Now, isn't Sweden a EFA country? I'm not sure. But either way, we usually need a local sponsor. When I say local sponsor, it's a person who's boots on the ground, helping us find venues, double checking, coordinating with the hotels and whatnot. So there's that. Next planned USA event. It'll probably be May 30th. May 30th, that would be an American event. Where exactly in America? Not just quite yet. Not quite yet. Effie Cormac, yes, he will. He's also up there on that list of whom we want to invite. Okay, so Wonder Bucket is saying, if Jerry started the King's move from round one, do you think he would have gassed out Camille for the win? Personally, I don't think so, because I think Camille is not just strong. I think he prepared a lot for it, so he has a lot of gas in the tank. Even at the end of the, even at the end of the fifth round, you could see that he was not gassed. So, and though Jerry did pull out the King's move that was mind blowing, it was literally, I was the guy who internally voted to get the match of the night, giving it to Camille and Jerry. But I think the proficiency of the King's move compared to, say, someone like Michael or Devon, Jerry's not quite there to hold Camille off for that long. Eventually, the flop press will come out of Jerry. Come out of Camille against Jerry. So that's just my take. I just thought those two guys were just phenomenal. But ultimately, I think Camille was faster. And I think in their kind of wrestling style, whoever's faster usually has a very big advantage. So that's just me from a very noobish point of view, but that's just my opinion. Let's see. Showing the cameras of the commentators was great. Yeah, Now, I also would admit, I think the first couple of rounds we had the commentators picture in picture was a little bit too big, so I think eventually shrunk it down. We probably have to shrink it down a little bit more. Kamil versus Georgi Svetkov. I mean, why wasn't there a rules meeting video uploaded? I don't feel there is much transparency over the rules. Why are there no more flags? No. That's wrong. We had flags. We had flags. We absolutely had flags. It was flags. Try to think the time when they pulled the flag out, it's a big old red flag where the one thing that we clarified to everybody was that if you wanted to protest, you had to stay on, stay at the table. So you're not allowed to walk away from the table and then protest. But there was a protest flag. Yeah, there was a protest flag. Does Todd Hutchings have a match at? I cannot read that. The upcoming event. I'll leave it up to this Sunday to answer that question when Robert joins me. But no, not. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna skip that question for now. Yeah, MCJY3TR. You're right. Rules has always basically been the same. It's silly to insinuate no transparency. Yeah, that is correct. We didn't change any major rules whatsoever. It's the only thing we usually do is just clarify because what that rules meeting is designed for. It's for especially some of our new athletes who have never been on before, right? Say like Jason Morozov, for instance, right? If he has a question, that's a great time to ask. That's what it's designed for. But our rules are all been published. Our rules have been published. You can go on our website to look for it, read through it, and if you want to protest, just point to a section on our website and on our rules sheet and tell our head ref that they screwed up. But for the most part, that's what it is. Another question: why aren't you inviting Bacho? He's a young star like Reno, Rickard, and he won his last match at EBW. So we actually did invite Bacho. We did invite Bacho, and matter of fact, I think we invited a few Georgians. One of the and then they were all planning on getting the US visa interview done at the same time. And I think one of them had an error because in the application they put the old website down, East versus West armwrestling.com, and so his visa was rejected because they thought it was a scam because of that website being down, right? And then so when Bacho found out about it, he was like, "Oh, actually, I don't want to travel to America alone because now my other Georgian, countryman is not going." So he was like, "Maybe we'll just hold off and go to Europe instead." So, but we did invite Bacho, and so there's that. Bacho is up there. What's up with the two channels? So starting maybe this Sunday, I'll migrate to that channel that will be specifically for arm wrestling, and this one will be more for like my own personal channel that I can do multiple things with it. So Mindaugas versus Makarov, that would be. It is there. I spoke to Mindaugas, extensively last week, and he says he thinks he's finally ready. He thinks now is very, very different. I mean, we've seen how dominant performance he has since earlier this year, from all the way back in Arlington, from Giannis himself, down to Prokopchuk, and again, like he never made any excuses. But everybody who was there witnessed how sick that guy was, and he still managed to pull off a dominant win against Prokopchuk. So this tells me that it's perhaps soon. It's soon time for another world title shot for Mindy against Makarov. Dexter, you said you had been planning to upload the profit stats for the league for the past years. Is it still? I didn't say I was planning. I said I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about it, and then I was dissuaded by many people. it's still private information, which could also help, you know, other people decipher our plans and what we're doing. So for now, probably not. What are we doing for ladies matches? I mean, you saw we had two matches, right? Two matches in Atlantic City. We could be also pushing for another. I would like to see. I mean, historically, female matches were never a big draw, but I think slowly and slowly, but surely, that that sentiment will change. I mean, I think it took like what 6, 7 years before UFC went full blown female, right? They had like I think the Ultimate Fighter, and then they had 2 seasons of females because it became so popular. So I think eventually we'll get there. I don't think we are there quite yet, but that's also not to say that we'll ignore them. So we will do that. As good as Jordan and Prutnik was, Prutnik has lost to many. He should be a prelim puller until he starts putting the work in again. If Agni a prelim puller, are you crazy? Yeah, and to be fair, this one, right, Prutnik stepped in. To be fair, we do take into consideration he did step in. Now, so there's that. Now to say that he wasn't prepared, completely. I'd say that's somewhat true with the time that he has, but to say that he's weak, it's also no. There are many people that we know that don't take very much time to prepare. Like, I'll give an example, right? Look at Rickert, for instance. He could step in at moment's notice and be pretty good. Look at Pavlo. Pavlo also shocked the whole world, right? In Chicago, he stepped in within a week or even less, and he rocked everybody's world. So what I'm saying is that there is a lot of there is a lot of circumstances that allows an athlete to be always on the ready. But yeah, let's see. Markov getting beat by Ingen first. Yeah, so we don't want to make any rash choices. I think was what Robert was telling me. We want to see how Markov plays out with his next few super matches. Let's see. Hermes, I was on a video call of him 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? Seems like I think he wants to get ready sometime perhaps in May. But we'll know a little bit more. He will be coming to Vienna as a special guest, from my understanding, and so at that time we'll be able to kind of plan a little bit better. But yeah. Hermes is not ducking anybody, so get that out of your minds. Hermes is not ducking anybody. So someone is asking, how many would buy a pay-per-view just for a female match? I think there is a number. I don't know that number yet because obviously it's too difficult to discern. But I think it's not the highest, but it is that there are some. And how I would know is it's in my inbox right now with the data from the after pool codes. So I'll be able to see how many people use the females code. Yeah. Any update on Brian Shaw competing or still working on it? We'll give you an update as soon as there's movement on that part, for sure. Any plans on doing EVW in Japan? Not at the time being until we find a local sponsor to help out with everything. Let's see. You think Jordan gets out of shape like Prutnik does? Bulgarians train 5 days a week. Prutnik was also, I mean, even though Prutnik lost, that was probably if it wasn't because of, I think, round 3 of Jerry and Camille's match, Prutnik's match would have been match of the night. That's That would be the internal vote. But I mean the whole double king's move or king's move into a flop press, those are just mind blowing, and that's crowd standing, crowd cheering moments. So we had to give it to Camille and Jerry. Devon versus Camille right-handed would be best in February. Okay. Will you guys be paying attention to upcoming women's round robins? So get this, Midwest Ladies Arms. We have, as you know, we have officially two matchmakers, and one of them is Shazana, who is a female, and she pays a lot of attention to females. So you can bet for sure she'll be looking in the female matches. Pavel trained all week and stepped in on 2 days' notice. Yes, that's right. It wasn't even a week. It was 2 days' notice. Definitely one of, and he won, which is the biggest thing. And he won, so that was a big thing. The Ruby is saying we should advertise arm wrestling on illegal streaming sites until you get rid of pay-per-views. Much smarter to get eyes and attention. That's money. You get 1K pay-per-views on illegal sites. You get 50K views. Use that to sell. Why was that after pull cutting out so often? So at the very beginning, the system that we use, it's not a traditional Wi-Fi. It's not a traditional hardwired Ethernet because the hotel doesn't provide that. Think of it, we call it a live view box. It's where think of it in a way where it's 4 cell phones. Just think of it, it's like 4 cell phones connected into a modem, and then we connect and send the signal through the modem to the 4 signals. They aggregate all 4 wireless signals. And when we move the after pull to a different room, we have to move the box in closer, and apparently we lost signal. And so we were frantically figuring out how to fix things, and finally what we did was we pulled a wire probably about 150 yards outside the building in order to stabilize it. But because of that, it was cutting out a little bit. Podcast with Devon and Morozov. Will give us a little bit more time to get a sentiment out there. Let's see. Can I do a poll on this thing? I'm on my phone right now. Can one of my mods put a poll? Should the Devon and Morozov match still continue or not? Vitaly, not Hermes. Send hot cocoa. Thanks. Just my opinion for CBLA. In the past, EVW placed non-title matches above title matches. It's a slap in the face to the champions, in my opinion. I mean, you're right, and you're somewhat right as well, but sometimes it's also a dictation of which match is most anticipated or most it's what gets the public most excited. So that's why we kind of make a guess on where it is, usually because if it's a title match, it gets higher on the priority, but it doesn't necessarily take over being example, right? Think about it this way. If there is only one world title match, and it's unfortunately this is the case, and I'm on the lighter weight side, guys. But if it's a lighter weight that people aren't excited about, and then not Levon, maybe say Vitaly and Devon are pulling right hand. It's not a world title match, but it's the most anticipated. Does it make sense to have the world title match come after it, right? So I understand your sentiment, but generally that's not how we're doing it, and I don't think we're planning on changing that anytime soon. Vitaly coming with a huge disadvantage if Devon doesn't have a right-handed match in February against Hermes or Camille. Okay, so here was another thing that we're thinking, right? What if Devon goes down to 115 to pull left against Alijan. Okay, so the disadvantage would be him coming down in weight, and then he has to go back up again in April. Now I know it's a different hand, but it's a different kind of disadvantage, right? So you could look at it from that standpoint. Yeah, Hermes for sure is not pulling in February. Mayan is pretty good. Every EVW should have one side show match like Shaw versus Hall. Woo. I mean, yeah, we try, but it's not always available. H. Raw Ballard. I usually try to remain a little quiet when I watch EVWD to neighbors, but round three of Jericho had me screaming, dude, it's me too. Like I was somewhat backstage, and that happened. I jumped out of my seat. I was like mind blown. I was confused. I'm like, what did I just watch? It's for me definitely round of the year. Round of the year, big hands down. Big hands down. Sir Bagels as well also confirmed that it's definitely the loudest it's been. Oh yeah. Guy Larso 688, thanks. Yeah, I'll check my email and I'll respond slowly to you. I got another connecting flight to catch pretty soon. I just can't make a poll. Oh, can't make a poll because this is vertical. Devon shouldn't be remarking on match cancellation before management unless owner Devon is real. I think it was a kind of a confusion thing because when everything was, blowing up, right? Everybody was complaining about, Morozov's video. Internally, we did have Devon brought it to our attention. He says, "Dude, I don't think it's a good idea anymore." We agreed it's not a good idea anymore, but I think officially, we could wait for Robert to make the final decision when it comes to that. But I mean, so there is that. So there could be a misunderstanding of sorts, but for sure. Oh, okay. There we go. Yep, for sure we are taking things seriously over all these. Devon going down in weight affects his preparation for Vitaly, so that's not a good. Well, H. Rawl Ballard. That's the thing, right? That is if you want to have both athletes be on the some level of disadvantage on both sides. Because I know Vitaly would say, hey, I just pulled Levon, and Devon can say, well, I went down in weight and pulled Arlijan. So there's that. When is Dave Shashi pulling again, Dexter? Let's wait till Sunday. Let's wait till Sunday for that specific question. I'm just scrolling really fast. Let Devon pull Arlijan at whatever weight he wants to be. Well, I think that one of the points that we are trying to get is we want Arlijan to defend his title, right? So if it's not against Devon, it could be Dadikan. Did I just, yeah. So again, it's not confirmed yet, but I'm just telling you, it's got to be somewhere along those lines. Devon won't cut for Arlijan. Arlijan won't accept the match with Devon at open weight, so the match doesn't make sense. Devon said he wants Arlijan if it matters. Now again, I'm just theory crafting it. It's not confirmed yet, right? I'm just theory crafting. It's not confirmed yet. I hope you can keep the Devon Morozov match. I think he's a victim of his own AI subtitles. Eton Oran. Another one says, just put Dadikan versus Arlijan. It solves that easily. It's a super long overdue match as well. Alexander Clark says, what happened to your friend who's doing the athletes interview? Did he quit for good? Unfortunately, for the time being, yes. From my understanding, he has left the sport, which is sad. I think it's a loss for everybody. But maybe one day he'll come back. I think EVW in Spain would be huge. How many years before till EVW in Latin America? It might be closer than you think. I'm actually talking with a very good Brazilian athlete. By then, you should know it's Gabby. She's thinking of doing something in Brazil. So I'm just exploring, nothing confirmed yet. I mean, it's far from confirmed. It's just exploratory right now. She might want to do maybe a tournament style over there. So I'm just seeing how we could help grow the sport in Latin America and how we can lend a hand. Like literally, I'm in Asia right now to see if I can grow the sport here. I mean, we have kind of secured almost secured a title sponsor from Asia for 2026. So I think there's a big growth in Asia, and that's kind of my goal to be here to see how I can just expand arm wrestling throughout the whole world, really. Here's another one. You should do a stream at the end of the year over highlight rounds like Kerry Camille, do some cool awards like round of the year, best comeback. You know, Alien Snail 71, 73. I was thinking exactly that. I was absolutely hoping to put a list together. Maybe it's my unofficial award ceremony on live stream. So, yeah, I let me think about it. Let me think about it. I might be able to do something in January. I think if I do it in January, then at least everybody's out of the holidays, and I'll be back in America by then. But that's a group. Yeah, you know what? I might expand that. Maybe Robin and I will host something. It'll be all online for now because it's too difficult to get all the athletes together. But that would be super cool. The let's see what DJ. Yeah. So anyway, I'm probably gonna head out right now. But for everybody who wants an update about the whole Morozov Devon match, just watch this at the end of the as soon as I turn off the stream because I addressed it almost right from the get go. And see you guys next time. Thanks.